Today, we're diving into something truly massive. It's one of the most ambitious national projects on the planet right now. India's plan to build a whole new social foundation for over 1 billion people. We're not just talking about a few new policies here. This is a complete rethink of how a nation empowers its citizens for the future.
So, let's just start with a number to wrap our heads around the scale we're dealing with. 55 crore. That's 550 million people. To put that into perspective, that's how many people are covered by Ayushman Bharat, the world's largest government-funded health insurance scheme. This one number really tells you everything you need to know about the ambition here. But, that massive healthcare program, it's just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. And it leads us to the real question we're tackling in Miss Explainer. How exactly is India trying to build this brand new social foundation for all its people? Let's get into it.
The whole strategy really hangs on this idea of inclusive growth. The best way to think about it is like building a giant national scaffolding for success, where every single citizen gets the tools and the support they need to climb. And this isn't just a nice idea. It's backed by some serious financial muscle.
So, what does inclusive growth actually mean on the ground? Well, it means that social policies, in education, healthcare, welfare, they're not just seen as safety nets anymore. They're being redesigned as active tools, as launch pads, to empower every single citizen and make sure that nobody gets left behind as the economy grows.
And you can see that commitment right here in the numbers. Just look at the growth in spending between 2021 and 2025. It's an 18% compound annual growth rate for health and a really strong 12% for education. This isn't just a random blip. It's a clear, sustained investment in the country's people.
So where does this national scaffolding even start? Well, the first huge pillar is education, and it's being approached like a revolution, really, because it's so comprehensive. We're talking everything from the most basic reading and writing skills for little kids, all the way up to advanced technology for the future workforce.
Now, to understand the revolution, you first have to understand the core problem they're trying to solve. And this slide lays it out perfectly. While 85% of kids are staying in primary school, look what happens. That number just plummets to 45% by the time they get to higher secondary. Closing that massive gap is the #1 mission here.
So how are they tackling this? With a multi-pronged attack. First up, the Samagra Shiksha, or Holistic Education Scheme, is busy upgrading school infrastructure all over the country. Then you've got these PM Shri schools being set up as models of what a great school should look like. And, maybe most importantly, the Nipun Bharat mission is laser-focused on making sure every young child gets those foundational reading and math skills.
But it's not just about academics anymore. The new approach is baking in something called social and emotional learning, or SEL. This whole framework, focusing on stuff like self-awareness, managing your emotions, relationship skills, it's all about developing well-rounded people who are ready for the real world. And of course, a huge piece of this is getting students ready for the future. To close that digital divide, the National DI-KSH platform is delivering digital textbooks and learning materials to millions. At the same time, these Atal Innovation Mission labs are popping up in schools, giving kids hands-on experience with cool stuff like AI and robotics.
Okay, so education is one pillar of the scaffolding. The second is just as critical, healthcare. And here we're seeing a really radical shift in philosophy. The goal is to move from a system where one medical emergency could bankrupt a family to one that's public first, one that protects people from those devastating health costs.
And this chart, wow, this shows you exactly what that shift looks like in real life. Out-of-pocket spending, that's the money people have to pay themselves for healthcare, it's dropped from almost 63% of all health spending down to under 40%. For millions of families, that is an absolutely life-changing difference.
So really, it all boils down to this simple but incredibly powerful equation. The more the government spends on health, the less of a financial burden falls on everyday people. That single idea is what's driving this entire healthcare transformation. And technology is just supercharging this whole thing. Get this, the eSanjeevani telemedicine platform has already handled over 310 million virtual consultations. We're seeing drones, actual drones, delivering medical supplies to remote villages. And AI is being used to help doctors diagnose diseases faster. This is all about bringing healthcare to people wherever they are. So we've seen the high-level strategy for education and health. But what does all of this actually mean for the average person?
To figure that out, we've got to look at how this empowerment is playing out on the ground, especially when you look at the changing face of rural India. This data is really fascinating. I mean, yes, there's still a gap in how much households in cities and villages spend each month, but the big story here is that the gap is shrinking, and shrinking fast. It's a clear sign that economic empowerment is really starting to take root in the countryside.
So what's driving this change? It's really two key things. First, direct benefit transfers, or DBTs, which put money for welfare programs right into people's bank accounts, cutting out the middlemen. And at the same time, there's this huge, powerful network of women-led self-help groups that are boosting entrepreneurship and financial independence from the ground up.
So what's the long game here? As we look towards 2030, the whole strategy is guided by this philosophy of balancing that ambitious growth with really smart, effective governance, the kind that encourages innovation instead of crushing it.
This quote from the National Education Policy just captures the approach perfectly. A light but tight framework. So what does that mean? The idea is to be light enough to give institutions the freedom they need to innovate, but tight enough on quality standards to make sure everyone's held accountable. It's a tough balance, but a crucial one.
And in the end, this is what it all comes back to. Every policy, every program, every rupee that we've talked about is designed to do one thing: empower citizens. Because that is how India plans to fully leverage its greatest asset: its massive and incredibly young population, its demographic dividend.
So, the scaffolding is being built, the money is being spent, and the tools are being rolled out at a scale we've just never seen before. Which leaves us with the one final massive question. With this grand social plan now in motion, can India truly unlock the full potential of its next generation? The blueprint is there, and you can be sure the entire world is watching.